Warning, don't miss this pump. This is NC Hammer Crypto. My name's Neil, where we keep technical analysis short and sweet. So if you've been following me for the past month and a half, or since I started this channel, we have been pretty accurate on almost every entry, except maybe one or two weren't the best whenever we had the retrace. But keeping that in mind, we were just talking the other day about Bitcoin getting a little bit of consolidation and holding support over this black downward trend line and this red line around 108. And with that, we would see the push up to around 111, 112. A little bit of consolidation, which happened exactly as we expected, and then the push up towards nearly 120 before a little bit more consolidation. This is not the end for Bitcoin. This is more like halfway through and the beginning of this potentially pushing up towards 150 to 200,000. But keeping that in mind, I mean, 100,000 turning into 200,000 is, double money. However, when we move over to altcoins, we can see that, for example, Bitcoin pushed up nearly 11% as expected. And I was talking about XLM the other day, and XLM had its major push up. So when Bitcoin goes up 10%, XLM is up 62, nearly 63%. Major pump on XLM. A lot of very good news happening for XLM. I would expect a little bit of consolidation, maybe a little bit of a retrace, and test this black upward trend line as support potentially. Or it could have a continuation as we see back here in November, where it had the push up, had a little consolidation, push up, consolidation, and could not break into the CM guppy and ultimately took off. So we are waiting for the 200 EMA to start curving upwards. This testing the CM guppies within the 4 hours and pushing upwards slowly, if not very rapidly. But keeping that in mind, the percentage increase, if you were to enter, even though you missed the 64%, there's still 38% to the next one, another 68% to the next stop, and much, much more beyond that. Definitely don't throw your money at something when the train has already left the station. And by that I mean we broke over this black trend line, and the train left the station, and then people start buying in here, and it does not go up past this high and hold. And so we have a retracement to keep the market healthy, keep it close to the 200 EMA and the CM guppy. Typically with the CM guppy, when I see it do that sharp increase, I usually expect it to retrace at least into this blue meeting the green area on the CM guppy when we zoom in. However, a lot of the times we do see it retrace down below that CM guppy, test the 200 EMA before ultimately taking off. Just keep that in mind, but also keep in mind we are at very high volume, and when we move out to the daily, we are completely overbought. But with that overbuy, we see back here that it was overbought, and it still had a continuation overbought, and then a continuation overbought all the way up here. So we had 3 peaks over in the RSI, the RSI being down here. And so we can expect something similar to be happening with this. A little bit of a retrace, we're seeing some wick off, but consolidation before another push up, consolidation and a push up once more before having to really break that 0.64 cent mark. But XLM is a part of Xrp. I recommend both highly, and XLM is only at 37 cents while Xrp is at $2. So you really start weighing the difference between the money that you're putting into a certain coin, as Xrp will have to go a lot higher in order to get the same percentage yield as XLM. However, the inverse head and shoulders played out perfectly as expected. We held above 2.64, which is a very important point to be holding. We mainly just want to see it hold above that 2.64. We'll start moving up to $3 and beyond with Xrp, and trillions of dollars are flooding into Xrp. Behind closed doors, you don't really see what's going on, but I highly recommend stacking a bag of XRP if you're playing more of the long run swing trade, as this will be hitting nearly $12 and potentially $25 very soon, even by the end of November, as I believe next year they are trying to implement a bunch of cross-border payments. Europe just added XRP as their test protocol for 12 months, and that started in, I believe, June or July, right in this area. So the fact that not only USA is using XRP, but a bunch of other countries are, it begins the party for the next leg up on XRP. I want to say don't start stacking your bag even though it's this high, because like I said in the last video, we'll probably never see around the $2, $2.50 mark ever again. However, we want to keep in mind this black trend line as support, as well as this orange trend line moving upwards. As long as it stays above this area, XRP can only go upward. Think of it as getting water pressure into a really tight channel. So just coming into a point and it has to break out one way or another. And so it broke out to the upside, had that nice little leak out in support, showing very nice consolidation over, I believe it was a month, maybe a month and a half. And now it's pushing up again. So definitely not financial advice, but I am stacking more and more into XRP. With XRP being talked about, we're actually going to move over to DNT. I was talking about this for a long time, way back here. Whenever people were trying to sell out, I was saying, hold it, we're going to see a touch to the top. And then we did not get exactly what we wanted. We wanted it to see a break right here, but we had that pullback and holding on that upward trend line as support. And once we crossed over that black downward trend line right here, we saw exactly what we expected, and that push up, and most likely coming back down to test it as consolidation. But DNT has a very, very long way to go. So keeping that in mind, 100% to the next stop, maybe even a little bit more, like 120%. But beyond that, it has 25, almost 26 cents as its all-time high, and it is currently at 2 cents. So I did stack a bag on DNT at this near absolute low, and looking at the daily, it is still bullish. We are holding above, or we are about to get above the 200 EMA, and usually once we see it get above the 200 EMA, it has a rapid push upwards before testing it as support, and then continuing in the bullish momentum. Also, volume is picking up. It does look a little bit overbought on the daily, but we can expect a little bit of consolidation to bring that back around the 50% mark, like we did right here, and then take off after getting near that yellow upward line. Moving over to BNT, I also have a bag of BNT. All the coins I talk about, I'm not investing, if that makes sense. I'm investing in all the coins that I bring up, and I always try and bring in any that you recommend. Like we had talked about Wormhole the other day. I gotta start wrapping this video up, as I have quite a few other coins to talk about. But inverse head and shoulders potentially playing out with BNT, and also BNT has a very long way to go. We had a major pump up, I believe it was over 100% on the push up with consolidation in a downward channel. Broke that downward channel, we could expect maybe a support, which would be the right shoulder, and then forming out, pushing back up to 95 cents, and beyond 95 cents, it also has a very long way to go. We are at a near bottom, so $10 being its high, it is currently at 68 cents, and I've been talking about DNT and BNT for a while, so keeping that in mind, it is all playing out as expected. I'm going to bring Doge into this one, and I'll do another video on QNT, IOTX, and XCN. This is TIA. I was looking at Doge USD, Coinbase, and we had that push above the 17-cent area, which as soon as it made over the 200 EMA, had that major push upwards. And with that push up, it was around 21%. However, we can't expect this to consolidate, touch the 200 EMA potentially, and then push up towards the 25-cent mark. Once it breaks that 25-cent mark, they say Doge can hit $4. So $4 for every 25 cents that you put in is definitely a good risk to reward ratio. The fact that Elon Musk backs Dogecoin is definitely something to keep in mind. So that's it for this video. I guess more important video on the next one. Like and subscribe if you want, and references in the links below. Free airdrop money this next month for grass tokens. Good luck and have fun with it.